Hey you, you're finally awake. You begin your grand adventure in the snowy, frostbitten landscape of Skyrim by waking up inside that iconic wooden cart heading straight toward the execution block in Helgen. Now, most players immediately panic, grab a basic iron sword, and start swinging it wildly at the local wildlife the second they survive that dragon attack. But not you. You possess a completely unique plan for your journey across this massive frozen province because you desire the ultimate power over life and death itself. You are going to dedicate your entire playthrough to mastering the dark arts of conjuration magic. Your ultimate goal? Turn every single fallen enemy into a loyal soldier for your personal undead army. You absolutely love the idea of making the local bandits carry all your heavy dragon loads while groaning loud, because turning your defeated enemies into your very own walking luggage carriers is the ultimate gamer power play. So, how do we go from a peasant in rags to the lord of the dead? Your first major goal requires you to take a painfully long and freezing trip up to the snowy northern coast to find the College of Winterhold. You happily stroll across the giant magical bridge, enjoying the academy to learn the deepest, darkest secrets of the arcane arts. You seek out a man named Finis Kessler because he holds the key to all the absolute best dark magic spells in the entire game. You really have to appreciate how the college completely embraces the dark arts and actively encourages students to experiment with raising corpses. You gladly hand over your hard-earned gold points to purchase the basic reanimation spells to start building your Empire of the Dead. We totally respect an academic institution that openly allows you to play with dead bodies in the courtyard. You take your newly purchased Ray Zombie spell and immediately sprint out into the snowy wilderness to find a group of unsuspecting bandits. You blast the first bandit with a destruction spell and watch him ragdoll onto the frozen dirt. Then you quickly cast your purple necromancy spell right onto his body to yank his soul back into the world of the living. You watch with pure joy as the glowing purple zombie stands up and immediately starts attacking his former friends with his rusty iron axe. You just stand back and let your new pet do all the hard work while you safely collect the loot from the sidelines. Watching a bandit completely betray his friends for your entertainment gives your brain the best happy juice. But here's the catch. You quickly realize that casting all these expensive purple spells requires a massive amount of magical energy to keep your army growing. To fix this, you take a relaxing walk out into the volcanic tundra, area south of Windhelm, to find a very special glowing rock called the Atronac Stone. You touch this magical monument to gain a massive boost to your total magical pool, plus a huge chance to just straight up absorb incoming enemy spells. You become a walking magical sponge that just eats the fireballs thrown by enemy mages and turns them into pure fuel for your necromancy. You gladly accept the slow magical regeneration because you plan to steal all your magical energy directly out of the dragons trying to roast them. Shooting a giant blast of dragon fire just to charge up your purple zombie spells makes you feel incredibly powerful. Your quest for ultimate dark power naturally leads you to the ancient, snowy city of Windhelm to solve a very famous murder mystery. You start the Blood on the Ice quest and happily play the role of a magical detective walking around the cold stone streets. You investigate the creepy abandoned house called Skyrim and discover a hidden altar covered in totally weird and spooky items. You search through the wooden shelves and find a very mysterious piece of jewelry called the Strange Amulet, hiding under some old papers. You know exactly what this piece of jewelry truly is, and you feel super excited to finally hold it in your hands. Playing the role of a spooky detective just to steal a magical necklace is exactly why we play this game. You take the spirit amulet directly to a man named Calixto Quarian and happily sell it to him for a nice pile of gold coins. You do this specific action because the game literally requires you to sell it to him to unlock the true power of the item later on. You continue your investigation by talking to the court wizard named Unferth, the Unliving, to learn the real truth about the murders. You wait until nighttime and catch Calixto trying to commit another crime right in the middle of the busy marketplace. You use your magic to put a quick end to his evil plans and proudly loot his body to reclaim your precious jewelry. We always love solving a complexity mystery by simply beating up the bad guy in the middle of the street. Look at the item in your inventory and smile as it transforms into the legendary Necromancer's amulet. If you remember the deep lore of the Elder Scrolls universe, you'll recognize this necklace as the personal artifact of Manny Marco, the king of worms himself. You eagerly equip this green skull necklace to gain a massive boost to your magical and a huge reduction in the cost of all your conjuration spells. You gladly accept the penalty to your health and stamina regeneration because a true master of the dead only needs magic to survive. You officially look the part of a creepy dark wizard, and you feel completely ready to take your powers to the absolute limit. Wearing the jewelry of a legendary dark god makes your magical outfit look absolutely perfect. Next, you decide to take your dark lifestyle a step further by wandering into a dark cave filled with blood-sucking monsters. You purposefully let the vampires hit you a few times until you contract a special magical disease called sanguinare vampiris. You happily wait exactly 3 in-game days for the disease to fully change your character into a creature of the night. You gain glowing red eyes and a completely pale face to match your spooky necromancer aesthetic perfectly. But you totally embrace the vampire lifestyle because it unlocks a very specific and incredibly powerful interaction deep inside the skill trees. Purposefully catching a magical space virus just to get glowing red eyes is a completely valid fashion choice. You spend a huge amount of time healing yourself and using magical wards to push your restoration skill all the way up to level 70. You do this specific, tedious grind just to unlock the famous Necromage perk sitting on the left side of the skill tree. This specific perk makes all your spells and magical effects incredibly powerful when you use them on undead targets. You combine this perk with your new vampire body to create a completely insane feedback loop of magical OPness. Because you count as an undead creature, every single positive spell and enchantment you put on yourself gets a massive permanent boost, breaking the game mechanics by turning yourself into a magical undead battery. It's just brilliant game design. You equip your Necromancer's amulet and watch the magical numbers go absolutely crazy thanks to your new Necromage vampire synergy. You feel incredibly strong as your armor spells give you extra protection, and your healing spells restore a massive chunk of your health bar. You really enjoy how this unique combination makes your character move at a rapid pace and carry a massive amount of extra weight in your inventory. You truly become a god of magic as your spell absorption reaches insane levels and makes you completely immune to enemy wizardry. You laugh out loud as enemy fireballs just bounce off your chest and fill your blue magica bar all the way to the top. Becoming completely invincible just by reading the fine print on a single skill perk makes you a true gaming genius. Your hunger for new dark spells pulls you directly into the Dawnguard expansion content to explore the spooky purple realm known as the Soul Cave. You walk through this massive haunted graveyard and search the stone ruins to find special spell tomes hidden by the ancient masters. You discover the ancient books to teach you how to summon the Bone Man and the Mist Man, alongside the incredibly powerful Wrath Man. You truly love the Wrath Man because he appears as a towering skeletal warrior wielding a massive dragon bone weapon. You instantly replace your basic zombies with these permanent skeletal bodyguards to ensure your enemies get crushed into tiny pieces. Summoning a giant glowing skeleton with a massive hammer is the easiest way to win any fight in the game. You take your new skeletal friends and travel to the Green Hills, east of Whiteman, to find the legendary Ritual Stone. You touch this glowing magical rock to gain the ultimate necromancer power, to raise every single dead body around you all at once. You use this power to turn a massive pile of defeated bandits into an army of groaning zombies, ready to do your bidding. You absolutely love watching 20 glowing purple minions march down the road behind you like a personal royal guard. You feel like a true general commanding a legion of the dead to completely overwhelm any poor soul who crosses your path. Creating a massive flash mob of angry zombies in the middle of the forest is just endless entertainment. You decide to make this massive zombie army a permanent feature of your playthrough by completing the incredibly long Lost to the Ages quest. You explore 4 different massive dwarven ruins to collect the glowing blue shards of Ethereum hidden deep underground. You bring these glowing shards to the ancient Ethereal Forge and craft the legendary Ethereal Crown to hold the power of the Ritual Stone. Then you discover the hilarious game mechanic where taking the crown off and putting it back on completely resets the cooldown of your massive zombie resurrection power. You use this incredible trick to raise a brand new army of the dead in every single room you enter. Using a shiny glowing hat to completely break the rules of magic makes you feel incredibly smart. You take your infinite zombie army on a boat ride to the Ashen Island of Solstheim to find another piece of essential dark magic gear. You fund the expensive Kolbjorn barrow excavation by giving a massive pile of gold coins to a very ambitious dark elf named Relis Cedrus. You wait patiently for him to clear out the ash, and eventually you dive into the tomb to claim Azadal's Ring of Necromancy. You put this ancient ring on your finger to give your reanimated zombies a completely insane and highly destructive new ability. You watch in pure amazement as your undead minions explode into a massive blast of frost magic the exact moment they take damage. Turning your loyal followers into walking knife bombs is a highly effective and highly entertaining combat strategy. You test out your new explosive ring by reanimating every single dead mud crab and chicken you can find on the side of the road. You send these tiny undead creatures running into a bandit camp and watch the entire area turn into a giant frozen explosion. You laugh hysterically as the heavily armored bandit chief gets completely obliterated by a glowing purple chicken. You really appreciate how this ring turns the smallest creatures in the game into the absolute most dangerous weapons in your entire magical arsenal. You spend hours just wandering the wilderness, looking for random wildlife to turn into highly explosive homing missiles. Winning a massive boss fight by throwing an explosive frozen chicken at the enemy is the true peak of gaming. You eventually push your conjuration skill all the way to level 90 by constantly casting Soul Trap on a dead body in the woods. You return to Finis Gester at the College of Winterhold and happily agree to perform the conjuration ritual spell for him. You head up to the roof of the college and summon an angry, unbound Remora to beat him into submission until he brings you a special sigil stone. You hand this glowing rock to Finis and finally unlock the ability to purchase the ultimate dark magic spell known as Dead Thrall. You feel a massive rush of excitement because of this master level spell allows you to reanimate a body permanently. Beating up a demon on the roof of a school to get the ultimate magic spell is a completely normal Tuesday in Skyrim. You take your new Death Thrall spell and begin the ultimate hunt for the perfect permanent bodyguards to follow you around the map. You travel to the Dwemer ruin of Bethardams to fight the massive green boss named Orkandor at the end of the Periite Daedric quest. You defeat this teleporting wizard and immediately cast your master spell to turn him into your very first permanent thrall. You absolutely love Orkandor because he possesses complete immunity to all magical damage and frequently teleports around the battlefield to confuse your enemies. You watch proudly as your new green friend completely destroys enemy mages while taking 0 damage from their spells. Having a teleporting magical bodyguard makes your walk through the snowy mountains feel incredibly safe and cozy. You decide you require a massive physical tank to balance out your magical team, so you head straight to the orc stronghold of Largashburg. You follow the cowardly chief Yamars into the giant cave and watch him fail his Daedric quest by dying to a giant. You immediately cast your purple magic on his massive orc body to turn him into your second permanent Dead Thrall. You give him a fully upgraded set of custom Daedric armor and a giant glowing warhammer to make him hit like a freight train. You stand back and watch your massive green Frankenstein monster completely flatten a dragon skull with one massive swing. Building your very own custom monster entirely by hand is highly satisfying work. You expand your team greatly by recruiting the magical vampire princess Serana to be your official living follower. You really love having Serana around because she also uses necromancy to raise her own dead bodies during every single fight. You hand each of your dead thralls a unique summoning staff so they can call their own magical Atranax to join the battle. You walk into a dungeon and watch your team expand into a massive army of thralls and zombies alongside glowing elementals, all fighting at once. You fill the screen with so many magical effects and glowing minions that the game engine literally struggles to keep up with the chaos. Creating a magical army so large that it threatens to crash your computer is the mark of a true Necromancer. Take a break off the main map to explore the amazing Anniversary Edition content and locate the hidden player home called Gallows Hall to solve the spooky bone puzzles inside this dark cave to claim the legendary Staff of Worms and the Bloodworm Helm. You put this creepy skull helmet on your head to boost your damage against the undead and greatly enhance your Necromage vampire powers. You use the Staff of Worms to permanently reanimate creatures that normally resist your spells and add a massive Falmer, Warmonger, to your collection. You totally adore how this player home gives you an actual bone altar to create your very own Black Soul gems. Living in a creepy bone cave with a magical staff is the absolute dream house for a dark wizard. You read the new spell tomes found in the Anniversary Edition and learn how to summon the massive bone colossus. You cast this master level spell to bring a giant skeletal titan crashing down onto the battlefield to crush your enemies. You really love how the bone colossus passively boosts the strength of all your other skeletal minions just by standing near them. You summon the colossus alongside 2 skeletal marksmen and watch them turn the enemy camp into a pincushion of glowing arrows. You feel completely unstoppable as your towering bone giant easily smashes a giant mammoth into the frozen dirt. Watching a massive bone titan suplex a mammoth is easily the most entertaining thing you can do in this game. You realize that maintaining this massive magical arsenal requires an endless supply of filled soul gems. To keep your staves fully charged, you travel the Shrine of Azura and agree to help the Daedric Prince find her legendary broken artifact. You retrieve the broken star and take it directly to the rogue mage, Nelakar, inside the Frozen Hearth Inn to corrupt its magic. You complete his dark ritual and transform the holy artifact into the Black Star to hold the souls of human enemies. You use this infinite Black Soul Gem to constantly recharge your magical gear and keep your power levels at the absolute maximum. You travel to the rocky city of Markath to find the perfect weapon to help you harvest all those fresh human souls. You enter the abandoned house with Vigilant Tyrannus and follow the spooky voice down into the basement to find the Daedric Prince, Molag Bal. You complete his dark request and claim the rusty mace of Molag Bal as your primary melee weapon. You swing this heavy metal club to drain the stamina and magicka of your enemies while automatically trapping their souls upon death. You totally enjoy beating your enemies down and watching their glowing essence get sucked directly into your Black Star. You take all your freshly filled soul gems and spend hours standing at an arcane enchanter to craft the ultimate set of Necromancer gear. You apply the Fortify Conjuration enchantment to your chest piece in your ring, while also enchanting your necklace and your helmet. You push your enchanting skill to the absolute limit to make all your master level conjuration spells cost absolutely zero magicka to cast. You become a literal god of magic who can summon giant bone titans and raise the dead all day long, relying purely on your customized gear. You walk through the frozen wasteland, casting massive purple explosions everywhere just because you decide to test your infinite magical power by joining the massive civil war raging across the province of Skyrim. You march into the giant fort battles alongside the soldiers and stand right in the middle of the chaotic fighting. You wait patiently for a massive pile of soldiers to fall to the ground, and then you activate your ethereal crown. You watch in pure amazement as every single fallen soldier on the entire battlefield stands back up, glowing with purple magic. You send your newly resurrected army of Imperial and Stormcloak zombies to completely crush the remaining living soldiers in a massive wave of bodies. You continue your dark journey and eventually reach the massive milestone of level 80 to trigger the arrival of the legendary Ebony Warrior. You meet this towering giant in the city and happily agree to face him at his final vigil high up in the snowy mountains. You prepare for this legendary fight by finding two ancient vampire Night Masters and turning them into your permanent dead thralls. You equip your vampire servants with custom enchanted Daedric swords and give them massive staffs of chain lightning. You walk up to the mountain and unleash your two ancient blood-sucking monsters to completely overwhelm the absolute toughest boss in the entire game. Watching two ancient vampires beat up a giant armored man saves you a lot of heartache. You watch the Ebony Warrior fall to the ground, and you immediately cast your Death Thrall spell on his massive armored body. You absolutely love the idea of turning the ultimate warrior of Skyrim into your own personal bodyguard for the rest of the game. You take your new giant friend and travel directly to the ancient Nordic ruin of Skuldan to enter the portal of Sovngarde. You walk into the glorious afterlife of the ancient heroes and completely bypass the rules by bringing your dark magic into the sacred mead hall. You feel incredibly smug walking past all the legendary warriors while dragging your glowing purple zombie right behind you. Step out into the misty valley of Sovngarde and prepare to face Alduin, the World Eater, in the final epic battle. You summon your towering bone colossus and let your dead thralls charge forward to distract the giant black dragon. You hit Alduin with pure dark magic and watch your massive undead army completely overwhelm the legendary Eater of Worlds. You absorb the soul of the ultimate dragon and stand victorious as the undisputed master of life and death in the entire universe. You sit on the highest peak of the world and smile as your loyal zombie army bows down to their new dark god. You travel back to the College of Winterhold and proudly walk into the Archmage's quarters to claim your rightful place as the leader. You decorate your new magical bedroom with all the creepy skulls and dark artifacts you gathered during your long journey. You place the Necromancer's amulet on a shiny display case and set the black star right next to your bed for easy access. You look out the window at the frozen sea of ghosts and feel completely satisfied with the massive dark empire you built entirely by hand. You plan to spend the rest of your days reading ancient spell tomes and finding new ways to turn the local wildlife into explosive ice bombs. But wait, the grind never stops. You take your massive army of thralls and decide to clear out every single Draugr tomb scattered across the snowy mountains. You walk into the ancient ruins and laugh as the old Nordic zombies try to fight your highly upgraded modern zombie army. You use your ethereal crown to raise the defeated Draugr and turn the ancient tomb guardians against their own dragon priests. You completely steamroll through the most challenging dungeons in the game by simply absorbing every enemy into your ever-growing purple swarm. You easily collect all the shiny dragon priest masks and add them to your massive collection of magical artifacts. You discover a hilarious trick where you can use Dead Thrall as a permanent walking storage chest to carry all of your heavy dragon bones. You find a generic banded body and fill his inventory with thousands of pounds of heavy armor and weapons you collected inside a dungeon. You cast your master spell to raise him up and happily watch him jog behind you carrying a literal mountain of heavy loot. You travel back to your house in Whiterun, safely defeat your walking backpack and easily unload all your treasures into your storage chests. You simply reanimate him again and head back out into the wild to collect additional shiny loot for your massive hoard. You spend a massive amount of time customizing the exact outfits of your permanent thralls to make your squad look incredibly stylish. You give your magical thralls matching sets of glowing glass armor and equip your physical tanks with heavy dragon bone plates. You really enjoy how the game engine forces them to wear whatever armor you place in their inventory before you cast the resurrection spell. You walk through the streets of Solitude with your perfectly coordinated undead entourage and completely intimidate all the local guards. You totally love hearing the guards make nervous comments about your dangerous magic as you confidently walk right past them. You take your perfectly dressed squad and head down into the massive underground cavern of Blackreach to hunt the secret glowing dragon. You use your unrelenting force shout on the giant yellow orb to summon Vultoriol into the dark glowing mushroom forest. You command your thralls to attack and watch the spectacular light show as they blast the dragon with massive chain lightning spells. You join the fight by casting endless volleys of ice magic to freeze the dragon solid, while your bone colossus smashes its wings. You claim another powerful dragon soul and add the giant glowing cavern to the long list of places you completely conquered. You completely master the art of the Necromage vampire and realize you can use it to boost the power of your dragon shouts. You equip the Amulet of Talos and watch the cooldown timer of your dragon shouts drop to an incredibly low number thanks to your undead status. You walk around the map screaming the slow time shout to turn every single battle into a hilarious slow motion action movie. You easily walk around the frozen enemies and casually cast your dark magic while they float through the air at a snail's pace. You feel like an absolute genius for combining ancient dragon words with your spooky vampire body to break the laws of physics. You finally sit back and admire the incredible journey you took to become the undisputed master of the dark arts in Skyrim. You began as a prisoner in a wooden cart and transformed into a glowing vampire god commanding a massive army of skeletons and thralls. You completely broke the game mechanics by combining the Necromage perk, the Ethereal Crown, and the Necromancer's Amulet into a perfect synergy. You defeated gods and dragons alongside legendary warriors by simply turning their own friends into highly explosive purple minions. You start a brand new playthrough immediately just to experience the pure joy of raising your very first zombie all over again.